Elves are often depicted as the most perfect, beautiful, and wisest beings in fantasy.
But lately, there has been a growing backlash against these perfect beings.
Why do so many fantasy fans find themselves hating elves? They used to be everyone's favorite fantasy archetype. They are portrayed as the absolute best at everything they do. Whether it is fighting, magic, or crafting exquisite jewelry. They seem completely flawless and untouchable in their perfection. But this very perfection is what makes them so annoying to others. They can slide down stairs on shields while shooting orcs. They are always clean, always right, and always superior. So why is there a growing online movement of elf haters? Dozens of threads and discussions are dedicated to this topic. People are tired of their condescending attitude toward other races. And honestly, it is easy to see where they are coming from. To understand this, we must look at how elves are portrayed. Elves act as mirrors to the cultures that created them. They reflect our insecurities about our own human flaws. They highlight the shortcomings of anything less than perfect. They represent an unattainable standard of beauty and grace. They are uniquely suited to reflect modern obsessions, such as our obsession with youth, beauty, and status. We spend millions trying to stop the natural aging process. We are constantly fighting against our own mortality. And elves represent the ultimate triumph over time. They are the eternal, unchanging beauties we wish we were. They look down on us from their high green forests. And they seem incredibly smug about their superiority. This is why the hatred for them is so strong. We love to hate the things we cannot be. But first, let us take a step back. What kind of elves are we actually talking about? Because the definition of an elf has changed over time. There are two main categories that usually come to mind. First, there are the traditional, small, helper elves. The ones who make toys or fix shoes at night.
They are usually depicted as cute, harmless, and industrious.
They live in trees or workshops and help humans. Then there are the modern, majestic, high fantasy elves. These are the tall, beautiful, and powerful warriors. They are immortal, skilled in magic, and highly sophisticated. They often look down on humans as short-lived and primitive. They are the ones who spark the most debate.
So how did we get from toy makers to snobs?
I will not tolerate this. How dare you speak to me in such a manner? This is preposterous. Is it all just because of J.R.R. Tolkien's work? Surprisingly, the answer is actually no. The trope of the gifted race goes back much further. Before we dive into folklore, we must understand a trend. The division between the specials and the ordinary. We see it in superhero stories, sci-fi, and fantasy. The chosen ones who are naturally superior to everyone else. They possess innate magical abilities and ancient wisdom, while the common folk are just trying to survive. This creates a clear division in the narrative. The specials versus the ordinary, regular people. We see this dynamic in popular modern movies too. The crowd is always dirty, helpless, and nameless, while the heroes are beautiful, fast, and powerful. They are stuck in the mud, literally and figuratively. They exist only to highlight the hero's greatness. This division is essential to understanding the elf problem. Because elves are the ultimate version of the specials. They are born with every advantage imaginable. But this concept did not start with elves. The idea of a divinely gifted ruler is ancient. It has been used in stories for thousands of years. To justify the power of the ruling class. They are chosen by the gods, so they must rule. This trope is incredibly satisfying for the chosen ones. But it leaves everyone else in the dark. The common people are shown as weak and helpless. They are just background noise in the grand story. However, this trope can also be highly entertaining. We love to watch characters with superhuman abilities. It is the core appeal of the superhero genre. And in fantasy, elves fill this role perfectly. We do not need to see them trained to be good. Unlike humans, who must struggle and train constantly.
Humans have to earn their strength through hard work. But elves are just born with incredible skills.
We accept their perfection because they are elves.
But sometimes, it can get a little ridiculous. They perform physics-defying stunts without breaking a sweat.
It can strain our suspension of disbelief.
And make them feel less like characters and more like gods. Which is where the frustration starts to build. Because if a group is always better than you, it is hard not to find them a little insufferable.
They have nicer houses, better hair, and longer lives. While we regular humans are left in the dirt. It is a recipe for resentment in any story.
But J.R.R. Tolkien was actually very careful with this. He did not make his elves completely flawless.
They have their own tragic history and flaws.
They are a declining race, fading from the world.
Their immortality is both a blessing and a curse.
They are not the main characters of his stories. They are there to support and guide the true heroes. The hobbits, who are as ordinary as it gets.
Look at them go! This balance is what makes his world work so well.
The elves are powerful, but they are not the focus.
They are a fading glory, leaving the world to men.
The true focus is on the small, overlooked characters.
Who find their courage in the face of overwhelming evil.
This is why Tolkien's stories resonate so deeply. They are about ordinary people doing extraordinary things.
With the help of the ancient, gifted races.
Who are wise enough to know their time is passing.
They are content with their simple, quiet lives.
A coats. And do not seek power or glory over others. Soft, rhythmic sounds of dirt being shoveled are heard.
This is the perfect contrast to the elves' perfection.
And it makes the world feel
real, and balanced.
But many modern fantasy writers forget this balance. They focus only on the elves' incredible abilities and ignore the tragedy and flaws that define them. They make them feel like untouchable, perfect beings, which is exactly why people start to hate them.
We want to root for the underdogs, not the perfect ones.
We want to see characters struggle and grow. Not just perform perfect stunts with ease. So why are elves often portrayed as so mean?
To understand this, we must look at their origins.
In ancient Norse and Germanic mythology,
They were semi-divine beings, distant and cold.
They did not care about the problems of humans.
They were often mischievous, playing tricks on mortals. This is where the toy maker archetype comes from.
from the folklore of the later Middle Ages.
Which was later popularized by holiday stories. And commercial advertisements in the modern era.
They became cute, harmless symbols of joy.
But high fantasy went in a completely different direction. It embraced the ancient, semi-divine Norse origins
and made them powerful, distant, and often arrogant.
This is why we have such a massive divide today.
Between the cute helper elves and the arrogant warriors.
And why our reaction to them is so different.
We love the helpers, but we kind of hate the warriors.
Because the warriors remind us of our own insecurities.
They represent everything we wish we could be, but cannot.
They are the ultimate symbols of unattainable perfection.
And that makes them highly polarizing in fantasy. But there is another side to this story.
The classic rivalry between elves and dwarves.
Elves are elegant, artistic, and deeply connected to nature.
While dwarves are stocky, practical, and work with stone.
They are the perfect opposites in every single way.
And their rivalry is one of the best tropes in fantasy.
It allows for great banter, conflict, and eventual friendship.
It shows that even the most perfect beings can learn. And that they are not entirely beyond hope.
Never trust an elf. The shouting is accompanied by the heavy, metallic clashing of weapons and armor in a chaotic battle. They can overcome their prejudices and work together.
To defeat a common enemy and save their world.
Which is the ultimate message of these stories.
That unity is stronger than any division or perfection.
And that even elves need help from others sometimes.
So maybe we do not hate elves after all.
We just want them to be a little more human.
To show their flaws, their struggles, and their heart.
Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.